What's up guys, Luke here with Luke's Points and Miles, and today I wanted to revisit and evaluate the American Express Trifecta. Now, most of us are very aware of this setup, but there are also more and more folks getting into the credit card game every day, and there are also new cards and new setups entering the space all the time. So today let's take a new look at this iconic Points and Miles setup. But first, if you are new to the channel, I talk about credit cards, points, miles, cashback, and travel. So consider subscribing if those are things that interest you. Also, if at any time, if you get any value or any entertainment from this free video, slap that like button. It goes a long way with the YouTube algorithm, and it gives me a much better understanding of the content the audience wants. So let's jump right into this. In 2022, we have what they are calling revenge travel. So many folks have been stuck at home or maybe not traveling the last couple of years, and that whole time, travel, flights, and hotels were relatively inexpensive. Well, during revenge travel season, all these folks are making up for lost time, and they are out in force. Prices for flights and hotels are also out in force. They're much more expensive as these industries take advantage of the spike in travel to recoup some of that lost revenue. All this means that, in my opinion, points and miles at this point in time are likely more valuable than ever. I recently booked a few flights for the second half of the year, mostly quick weekend trips for football games, and I am embarrassed at the prices I paid. Now, fortunately, those prices weren't exactly in cash. They were in American Express MR points, but the price inflation is still very noticeable. You know things are kooky when your flight to Ireland in Comfort Plus costs the same as your economy flight to Tampa in the same year. So to review the American Express Trifecta, a very popular credit card setup for travelers for a number of reasons. One of which, it's a great way to generate tons of American Express membership rewards points for travel. We'll get more into the benefits later, but first let's explain the Trifecta and the powers of each card within it. Now, please note this will not be complete reviews of each individual card. We have those in the American Express section of the channel. The American Express Trifecta is commonly known as the American Express Platinum card, yes, the Big Daddy, paired with the American Express Gold card, known as the Workhorse, and accompanied by a business card, the American Express Blue Business Plus. Now, if you aren't familiar with business credit cards, look for some future videos exclusively about small businesses and business credit cards very soon from this channel. For now, just know that a sole proprietor is eligible for the American Express Blue Business Plus, and that means that you are overwhelmingly likely to qualify. So what are each card's powers and role within the Trifecta? Well, let's start with the Big Daddy. The American Express Platinum card is one of my favorite cards in the game, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. This card gets so much heat though for having tons of credits to offset the $695 annual fee. The most common lame insult is it's a coupon book. Now, this is just something that is just repeated over and over, but most of the credits are fairly easy to use, and they really do get that annual fee down to a much more manageable level. A quick mention of the credits are as follows: $240 digital entertainment credit, $155 Walmart Plus credit, $200 airline fee credit, a $300 Equinox credit, a $100 Saks Fifth credit, a $200 hotel credit, and a $189 clear credit. Now, let's talk about the card's earnings. The Platinum card is not meant to be an everyday spender, but as far as travel, it does provide. The card earns 5x MR points on flights booked in the Amex travel portal or directly booked with airlines. The card also earns 5x MR points with prepaid hotels booked with American Express. Remember this earning rate later when we talk about the different ways to book hotels. The card only earns 1x on everything else, so we're not going to use this card for much of our everyday spend. This card really is for flights and hotels and the benefits. Benefits, you say? Yes, this card not only helps us travel more, but it helps us travel much, much better. The card gives the holder access to the American Express Fine Hotels and Resorts program. A super quick explanation of this program is that it gives you a way to book really nice hotels with the following perks. A room upgrade upon arrival. A property credit of at least $100. This is different for every property. You get early check-in, late checkout, daily breakfast for 2, and complimentary Wi-Fi. Now this is a super program, and the Platinum card even gives you a yearly $200 credit towards booking fine hotels and resorts. The next benefit, as it applies to our trifecta, is the global lounge access. If you're a fan of the channel, you know how much I value lounge access. I'm not super interested in sitting in the pit with all the peasants talking on their speakerphones while their snot-nosed kids cough all over everything. Having lounge access generally gives you a different experience. You'll have a relatively quiet place to relax, get some refreshments, and maybe a nice little area to get some work done. The Platinum card gives the holder access to the Centurion Lounge, 1,400 plus Priority Pass lounges, and Delta Sky Clubs when flying Delta. It's easily the most comprehensive lounge access card in the game. Along with those perks, the Platinum card comes with tons of travel protections, gold status with both Marriott and Hilton hotels, status with car rentals, and credits for both TSA PreCheck, Global Entry, and Clear. Now, it's impossible to go over all these credits in this video because it would be an hour long, but I think you get the point. The Platinum card makes travel better, and it earns well with flights and hotels. I will try to link our American Express Platinum review in the description if you want a more in-depth look, and it could be overdue to refresh that video as well. The next card in this trifecta is the American Express Gold Card. Now, if you watch the channel, you know I've went around and around with the Gold Card, and I have finally, after 2.5 years, admitted its greatness and that it is here in my collection to stay. The Gold Card has a $250 annual fee, but comes with $240 in fairly easy to use credits, making the annual fee much easier to swallow. We'll get to the credits after we talk about earnings. The Amex Gold Card earns 4 times Amex MR points on US supermarkets and US dining. It also gets 3 times MR points on flights, but for this setup, we would not use it for that. The reason the Gold Card is so powerful is that for so many of us, we eat food. My family spends over $1,000 a month at the supermarket, and I'd be ashamed to tell you what we actually spend on dining out. So this card really is a way to rack up membership rewards points. The credits come in the form of a $10 a month dining credit, which I use for Grubhub, and a $10 a month credit with Uber and Uber Eats. If you're traveling, then the Uber credit should be easy to use, and if you're not, grab a smoothie once a month. Doing this correctly and consistently can make that effective annual fee just $10. Now, if you're scoring at home, we're earning 5 times on flights, 5 times on hotels, 4 times on supermarkets, 4 times on dining. Admittedly, there are a lot more categories to consider, and if you want to get way more advanced, then I think that's great. If you want to stay with an easy to manage trifecta, then this last card will be your everything else card. The Blue Business Plus is the glue that holds all of this together. There's no annual fee, and the card gets 2 times MR points on up to $50,000 spend a year. I mentioned the limit because we do have some ballers watching this channel, and they have some relatively high spend. It is also possible to get 2 of these cards for you big leaguers. The Blue Business Plus doesn't have a ton of perks or frills. It just earns 2 times on everything. It's also worth mentioning that if you suffer from some type of lifestyle change or income loss or something like that, and you can't afford the annual fees of the Platinum and Gold card, you can use the Blue Business Plus to maintain your stash of MR points until you reassess your situation. So let's get into some pros and cons of this setup, and let's start with the cons because it is not perfect. The biggest con is the annual fee. This is a really expensive setup to run. Now, we didn't talk about the new card bonuses because I want to focus on running this system long term. The setup costs an upfront fee of $945. And I know a lot of people are laughing at anyone that would ever pay that much of an annual fee just to use a credit card. And it is very expensive, but we know better. The next con is something that isn't talked about enough. This card does not do well outside the United States. American Express just does not have the acceptance worldwide for you to run this exclusively. You'll still need some type of no foreign transaction fee, Visa or MasterCard if you are a world traveler. Another con, and this is likely the biggest hit, the setup isn't a set it and forget it type setup. It takes work. You must set up a system to use these credits to make the annual fees much more palatable, so you will need to plan and keep track of some spending. The American Express system itself isn't completely simple. You will need to learn the game to get great value from membership rewards points. You'll need to evaluate the travel partners and navigate through several different programs. Some trifectas will rely on a travel portal and be more of a one-stop shop. That's not what American Express is. American Express is for big leaguers who are going to learn how to transfer MR points to British Airways to book a short haul flight on American Airlines. It's a commitment. The pros of this setup. I hope I didn't overwhelm you with the negatives, because this trifecta has limitless potential for someone who not only wants to travel, but wants to travel well. No setup will give you more lounge access. The Centurion and Escape lounges, Priority Pass lounges, and the Delta Sky Clubs can completely change your travel experience. The card gives you hotel status that can help get you free food and beverages or room upgrades. Learning the basics of using American Express membership rewards points isn't all that difficult, but it can be super valuable. There are also levels to it, so you can start slow and work your way up the ladder. The number one biggest pro of using this American Express trifecta is the legendary American Express customer service. If you haven't experienced it, it's tough to explain. It's just better. Their agents are normally very knowledgeable about your issues, and they actually fix them. I could go on and on about this, but the customer service is far and away the biggest reason I'm an American Express customer. Now, guys, I have to end this video at some point, and it's already fairly long, so I think this is a good spot. Again, if you want in-depth reviews of these cards, you can find them on my channel. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I or someone else will answer them. If you have stayed all the way to the end, I appreciate you and I thank you.